Hi there, Eric here, your Learning Futurist. And in this video, I'd like to talk about some changes that came to YouTube's terms of service to the rest of the world, came to the United States late last year, around the idea of this right to monetize and how it's a good time to connect that to this idea of the public square, a place where we all gather to share ideas and communicate open and freely, how that's moving toward the internet, and these ideas of YouTube's right to monetize is slowly privatizing that concept and idea. Coming up in this video right now. Right, so I'm a bit surprised I didn't see this coming a little bit faster, and that there wasn't more news out of this coming from the States, because this change happened to the United States users late last year. But being a manager of several YouTube channels here in Japan, I am getting several emails and messages from YouTube saying that the terms of service are changing, and there are some main points about those. Um, they're going to have some facial recognition restrictions. They're going to kind of update the royalty payments and tax withholding type systems. But the main thing that sticks out is YouTube's right to monetize. Now, this is YouTube's right to monetize, not your right to monetize your information. So basically, what this says is uh, YouTube now has the ability, or will start to use, ads on videos that aren't monetized. So as an educator, this is really troubling to me because I have hundreds of videos on YouTube. It's been a great way for me to share information like you're getting now, especially for my students at university level, to get tutorials, to get information, especially during the pandemic, to actually receive lectures. And I make it a point not to monetize that or put ads on them, or try not to allow anything to be ads put on them, if at all possible, in the settings. But now YouTube is saying that they will now start putting ads on even not channels that have people that have opted into what's called this YouTube partner program, where you can receive some royalties and a cut of the advertising dollars that go into putting ads on your videos. Now, there are some troubling things about this. So, of course, like I said, as an educator, I have all these videos on there. Now I can start to maybe to see videos being shown to students when they're just getting simple lectures or things like that. And so this idea of the public-private square comes to mind. So one thing that happened very recently, actually this was, I think, late last year, early this year, is Facebook and Google's fight with the Australian government over news. Australia wanted to make Facebook and Google pay to link to news articles or to reshare news information put up by news organizations in Australia. We all know that the news and newspaper industry is being crippled by these companies in general, because they're sharing news and information so freely in a different way, and things like the classified page and advertisements that the local papers used to get for their revenue to run their businesses have been decimated. So Australia was trying to claw back some of that information. But what happened was Google and Facebook reacted to this very differently. Google basically paid a bunch of money, and Facebook threw up their hands and flipped the table and walked out of Australia basically for a little while, maybe a week or two. And when they finally reopened Facebook to come back, they tried to close down everything that they thought was newsworthy. And they were very ham-fisted with this, because places like public health pages on Facebook, charity groups on Facebook, actually government-run agencies that run their information programs through Facebook were all shut down because maybe that was considered news. So when I was watching this happen, I was just struggling with the idea that now Facebook is the go-between, the medium from which ads are being placed on pretty much all public information between the government, organizations, charities, and the general public. And so we're seeing this kind of idea happen again with Facebook and their new terms of service. Now, to go back to those terms of service, Facebook is going to start putting ads on anything that they want. I think they're going to be a little bit careful of this going forward, at least at the beginning, not to stir up any resentment or get any legal authorities involved, perhaps. But this is troubling in a bunch of different ways. So as YouTube creators, perhaps all out there in the world, I have many friends out there, they make their living, or at least their side hustle, putting out videos and gaining a little bit of that ad revenue. Now they're going to start competing with those that are not want to monetize their information, or all the rest of the YouTube creators that are not in the partner program. And partner program has a bunch of limits too. You have to have maybe like 1,000 subscribers and a bunch of watch hours on your channel before you get to that status and become a partner. And ironically, if you are a partner and you opt in to show ads on your channel, you have now more ability to control the ads that get shown and how they get shown to your viewers of your content than someone like a teacher or even a government entity putting out public information on YouTube channels. So I have a couple of very kind of basic, important questions about this and concerns with this kind of idea of the public-private square and YouTube's new policy changes. So if you're a creator and you're not wanting to monetize your ads, or you don't have enough subscriber, or you're not a professional YouTuber, or don't want to be a professional YouTuber, you just want to share content, you have really no say about the ads that are being placed on your content. So this is troubling as an educator, or if you're maybe a competing idea or ideology or product, you can potentially see ads on something that goes against what you're trying to teach or against what you're trying to argue for on your ads. Very, very disconcerting. So money might trump truth again in this kind of concept. It's just an example. It probably won't happen as much as I worry about. But another way is there's no way to know if if ads are being shown on your channel or on your content, because it's your content and you're in a different location. A lot of these ads are location-based or targeted towards specific people with your content, so it's kind of hard to know what the end user is seeing. So if you're a YouTube creator and you're trying to get to that level of YouTube creator status and actually receiving some payout for your content, you might see ads that go against your own kind of the experience you want to give to your followers and maybe diminish it. And it's a puzzling thing here too. It's now kind of a conflict of interest now to have more YouTube partners for YouTube, because then they relinquish some of the revenue for the ads and they relinquish some of the ability to control the ads on different channels. So could the algorithm now start pushing more views towards unmonetized channels where people are not getting a cut of their revenue? I mean, this is pretty much a black box. We don't know how the YouTube algorithm works and how they recommend videos, but any YouTuber will tell you that their livelihood of getting monetized and revenue from their videos comes from the algorithm and how to best put their videos forward that will put their views or their thumbnails of the videos in front of as many people as possible. So it becomes in YouTube's interest to move eyeballs towards channels that aren't, where intended not to show ads. Like people didn't purposely made good content because they wanted to create and share information. And so maybe those ads are now placed on those videos instead of people that are actually out there looking to put ads on there and have a little more control of ads on it. And of course, the third and most disturbing of this is a trend in all of this kind of public-private square situation is there's no way to opt out. And that is the worst part of it. So like if there's no way to opt out of it, you use the service, they change the terms of service whenever and however they want. So you've opted into a situation, maybe you're like me, a Facebook user for over 10 years or so, and now the terms have changed, the agreements have changed. One step up from that, now companies like Facebook, Google will opt you in automatically, and then you could opt out. But really, much of what's happening with these policy changes should be an opt-in, and that's what happened recently with Apple's changing of the policy to allow other apps to track you between apps inside and downloaded from their app store. And something like 95% of people, hey, I can choose not to be tracked. And then they actually went an option. Facebook's not very happy about it. So, all right, guys, what do you think about this? The public-private square. We rely on these things, especially now that we're using digital means to convey information, to share information, education, public awareness of issues, health-related things, charities, all using Facebook and YouTube to kind of get their information out. And this right to monetize, for them, not for you, may start to interfere with the message and may start to influence the algorithms that put this information in front of people. So, interested to hear your thoughts. That's all for now. Eric, your Learning Futurist, signing off for this time. We'll see you now in the next video. Bye-bye now.